This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How are we doing today on a Monday? It's May 11th. This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. We're brought to you by Derek Daniel, State Farm Insurance, right there in Tuscaloosa. You can call him for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. He'll take care of all of your insurance needs, home, life, or auto insurance. We appreciate him taking care of us. We're also brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. You can check them out online at roofturtle.com for all of their products and services, metal roofs, shingle roofs, residential roofs, commercial roofs. It doesn't matter, roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs. Purple Turtle Roofing sponsors the program and gets us online today. We are on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, the BamaCentral Facebook page. You're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We appreciate everybody who subscribed, rated, reviewed on all those platforms. If you've got some time, if you're an Apple Podcast listener, take a little bit of time today. Leave us a 5-star review. It would help us out so much. We appreciate that on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. We're going to have a lot of fun today with our friend Theo Fernandez as we're going to talk about the action that was over the weekend. Alabama baseball swept South Carolina, handled their business. South Carolina so bad. So Alabama baseball did what they had to do. Alabama softball made it to the championship game, and we said that was the expectation, but then fell flat a little bit against the Texas Longhorns on Saturday night, but still was given the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA Tournament. We'll talk about that as well. We'll highlight Hunter DeCyver's article this morning. Hunter DeCyver wrote 5 breakout candidates for the Alabama Crimson Tide this football season. So if you want your football fix, you can see it on BamaCentral.com. Hunter DeCyver's got 5 breakout candidates in 2026. We'll talk about his article, and we'll talk about who he might have left off the list. And Theo, I didn't mention this in pregame, but you have the NBA draft lottery that happened. Updated some NBA draft projections for LeBaron Philon and for Amari Allen, so we could talk about that as well. So big day on the Joe Gaither Show. Gonna have a lot of fun. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. Good morning, sir. How we doing?
I'm doing phenomenal, Joe. Great weekend out here. Watched my Oklahoma City Thunder fall just short of getting that top 4 NBA draft pick. You know, the league hates to see a small market team win. OKC will still find a way to prevail. I mean, they're playing a series against the Lakers where, like, LA's getting all the calls, getting all the free throw attempts, and it doesn't matter. OKC is prevailing. So the Thunder, no top 4 pick. Maybe that paves the way for Amari Allen to come to OKC. So we'll see. That was kind of my highlight of the weekend.
There we go. Y'all are up 3-1, right? Or 2-1, right?
3-0. It is over. It ends tonight.
Oh, not even going to let the Lakers have a gentleman's sweep.
I'm strongly considering going to the game tonight, assuming tickets kind of just collapse last minute and I can snag one late. So we'll see.
You get yourself over to it's not Staples Center anymore. What do they call it now?
Crypto.com Arena, which I have no clue. I thought crypto was dead. Like, I thought, the name, you probably need a new name soon, if I understand correctly, but still crypto.
All right, well, get yourself to Crypto Arena about an hour before the game, and just watch Ticketmaster or SeatGeek or whatever. Just watch those apps and see if you can get yourself a ticket for $10-15.
It'd be a fun time. I had off work literally like 15 minutes before tip off, so I could go on and over there and get in with like 6 minutes left in the first quarter for cheap. I'd do that.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, you can always do. I have been known to buy the cheapest ticket available and then just walk in and go find a seat that makes me happy.
I'll have to stay quiet, though, to blend in because nobody in LA cheers. They're all too cool to support their teams. So,
well, I hope you do get I hope you do get to watch the Thunder tonight in person. Watch them close it out because I know you're a big Thunder fan. Let's get right into the Alabama stuff right here. Alabama on the diamond, really largely good. Really good this weekend. You got to the SEC title game with on the softball side of things, and you swept South Carolina on the baseball side of things. I think that you met expectations on both ends. You want to start with softball or baseball? Why not baseball? Because it's the one we're most familiar with right here. You sweep South Carolina. South Carolina entered the weekend one of the bottom 3-4 teams in the SEC, and so you really needed to handle your business. It was the final road series of the year, and you got good starting pitching from all three starters. Bullpen kind of had some issues in all three games, but you were able to have enough offense in all three games to where you won. And really, I think put yourself into position. And Theo, that's the question and the conversation point. Put yourself into position. If you take care of Ole Miss, I think that you are basically locked in to host a regional, and that really is, I think, the main goal for Alabama baseball.
Yeah, it's funny, Joe. I think one of my maybe hotter takes at the beginning of the year involving this team was that Alabama would have 3 bona fide number 2 pitchers. That Miles Upchurch would reach the level of a number 2. Zane Adams, there'd be no questions around him by the end of the year. And Tyler Fay, I didn't know how high his level of performance would be, but I was like, yeah, he will be a number 2 guy, even if he does stay the Friday guy. And instead you've gotten a legit number 1 in Fay. One of the best number 2s in the country in Adams. And a guy in Upchurch who you'd be happy throwing him out on Saturdays. Like, this is just an unreal, pitching performance from these 3 guys. And Upchurch, he wasn't great to start the season. He had some rough games in SEC play. He has been a different guy over the past. I don't know when it started. I'll give him 4 weeks now where Miles Upchurch is just performing at a higher level, and even when he doesn't throw his best stuff out there on the mound, he's still a resilient guy with a mentality of, yeah, you could very easily believe he was an upperclassman from watching him pitch. Zane Adams is just doing some unreal stuff, and then Tyler Fay, the ceiling with him is that he can go toe-to-toe with any Friday night guy in the country. You are getting some incredible stuff out of the starting 3, and you have, not to jinx it because anything could happen this week in practice, but you're on the verge of getting through the entire season without having to mess around with your rotation one time. Joe, that is not particularly common in this chaotic world of college baseball. So you're just getting some crazy stuff out of those guys. The bullpen is gaining trust for me. You had 2 crazy weekends against Auburn, Oklahoma. You fell back down to earth, and now you're kind of stabilizing a little bit. And almost blew that game on Sunday yesterday, but that was because of just some errors once again from JoJo Williamson and Brendan Holt. Brendan Holtz was in the 9th, Williamson in the 8th. So South Carolina had 5 unearned runs, had the winning run at the plate at the end of the game, but Hagen Banks still it was Matty Heiberger who was, so it was Crowther for the 7th and 8th, then Hagen Banks for most of the 9th, and then Heiberger came in to finish the deal in the 9th. Those are 3 guys that you trust as much as you can at this point in the season, and a lot of the questions come down to, can we trust the defense to not let these guys down? And that'll be a question mark until the end of the season, right? We were very nearly having a very different conversation right now against this team, given how sour of a taste a blown lead on Sunday would have left. But you took care of business, and you're in a phenomenal spot right now as a team.
Yeah, I'm sitting there writing the article on Sunday as it's 7th, 8th, 9th inning. I'm starting to scratch away, and I'm like, all right, we actually I think I started in the 6th, and I'm like, all right, I know how this game is going to go. I'm pretty sure we're on a path for this game, and Alabama's going to win. So I'm going to start writing it like that. In the bullpen, oh gosh, he comes in and you start to sweat a little bit. You talk about that error. I thought, oh my gosh, don't make me change this whole thing up right here. But they handled it. To me, Theo, the most impressive thing was the ability to be okay. Saturday, Sunday, you don't have Justin LeBron because of you get clotheslined on Friday, trying to go to first base. And not that South Carolina is a world beater, but the maturity to say, hey, we don't have our top guy. And you can all debate about Justin LeBron's season at the plate or in the field, whatever, but he is the top guy and he is the team leader. So you don't have Justin LeBron. Well, the team just says, hey, same, we're going out there, handling our business. I thought it was a positive thing to see the team not allow a little bitty, Justin needs a couple days off to recover, to get them in their fields or get them down on themselves and have a bad performance. I think it was good to see them win without Justin LeBron.
Yeah, I agree too. I don't hate that take whatsoever. I'm just looking at this team, right? And it has been such a roller coaster. I mean, you started a little bit choppy with the highs of winning Frisco, lows of, we lost Washington State, right? And then you crater, right? The Florida, South Alabama, what a really low. And then you respond with 3 straight series wins, 8 of 9 in SEC play. And then you go down again. I mean, we just have this pretty awful stretch after the high. And now you've swept 2 opponents in a row. Look, Vanderbilt and South Carolina are both SEC bottom feeders this year, which sounds kind of weird to say. Yes. I mean, Vanderbilt's streak of making the tournament round, getting to play in a regional is on life support is going to need a crazy run in Hoover to survive. It is a weird year in the SEC, but Alabama, doesn't matter who's in front of you, just take care of business and beat them, and you did that, right? 6-0 over 2 weekends. Alabama hadn't won consecutive SEC series since 2023 entering the year. And now they've swept consecutive series twice this year. That's pretty legit right there for this team. If you're looking ahead, it's okay, well, now are you due for another, right? Is it due to correct? That's been the problem with this team, right? Is you don't come in expecting a level of consistency. It's always things could fall apart at any given moment, right? And you're at a point, obviously, where you fall apart now, your season's going to end, right? You've one more weekend before the postseason. So I guess my question, kind of open-ended, Joe, because I don't think we can do much to answer it. Has this latest run, the latest respond to adversity, all that, sparked real change from this team? I'm hesitant to answer that in a positive way, especially given the fact that, well, you're still committing the errors, right? We saw it late against South Carolina. How easy could that have bit you in the foot? If you do that in a regional, probably won't end up on the right side of that. So a lot to look at, but it's hard not to feel good about this right now because at face value, I mean, you've won 16 games. You're most likely going to end this season with your most, I think it would be since 2002, your most SEC wins since 2002, with a chance of hitting most regional wins this century, or SEC wins this century. That's a very likely case. Season ends right now. Not only do you get a bye, you get a double bye in Hoover. You can't be anything other than just super excited about that as an Alabama baseball fan. And you very just about locked up a regional at this point.
So I want to encourage everybody to get to Sewell Thomas Stadium on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because it will be the final home series of the regular season. You might have more postseason baseball at Sewell Thomas Stadium this year, but I believe the boys could use all your support to help them get them over that hump. I think Theo is exactly right. That is the question. Is the latest upswing real, or is the latest upswing due to Vanderbilt and South Carolina's inadequacies? I think that is just remains to be seen. I think this weekend against Ole Miss is going to offer you a pretty good little look, a pretty good little answer to that, because Ole Miss is right there kind of on your level. They beat Texas A&M this past weekend, 2-1. They're going to have a midweek against UT Martin, so they'll be coming off that. And it'll be a very, very important series right there to close out the year. You want to maintain seeding for Hoover. You want to maintain your spot with the NCAA regional hosting. I think that you handle what? You win 2 out of 3 against Ole Miss. You can basically schedule yourself to play postseason baseball in Sewell Thomas Stadium, regardless of your result in Hoover. So it's a huge, huge, huge week for Alabama baseball. Now flip to the other side, Theo, the softball side. Alabama softball makes it to the SEC championship game against Texas, but really, really falls flat as the offense kind of went into the tank against a really nice pitching performance for Texas. So you made your SEC runners up, your regular season runners up, your tournament runners up, and so you maybe you end the weekend on a sour note, but you get the NCAA seeding comes out mid-evening on Sunday, late afternoon on Sunday, and Alabama draws the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. So Alabama guaranteed you're hosting a regional this coming weekend. If you are into softball, you got postseason. And then if Alabama handles their business, they will be hosting the Super Regional the following weekend with a chance to go back to Oklahoma City. Their regional opponents are going to be Southeast Louisiana. It's going to be USC Upstate and Belmont. Belmont carries one of the better pitchers in kind of their level, their division, but it should set up for Alabama to basically to win their regional as the number 1 overall seed. Are you feeling disappointment that Alabama lost the SEC championship game 7-1? Really couldn't get anything going. Only 3 hits to Texas's 13 hits. Are you feeling disappointment they didn't get it done, or are you just saying, okay, exhibition, all eyes on the NCAA tournament. You're the number 1 overall seed. Let's get back to Omaha.
No, I don't think you should feel much disappointment. I mean, I was working NASCAR yesterday, covering the bowling over at Watkins Glen, and I had the game on in the background. I remember, right when I turned it on, look over, it just goes, and there's Audrey Vandergriff, kind of dropping that ball in left field. Just wasn't your day, but Alabama getting to the SEC tournament, you can't really be upset about that at all. And you also have to be really happy with Oklahoma dropping a game early, which paves the way for Alabama to jump up to the number 1 overall seed. With that being said, you did a disservice calling Lyon Johnson one of the better pitchers in the country. I mean, she is, by all accounts, just elite. Just one of the probably top 3 pitchers in the country from what I'm seeing. The numbers, I mean, I vaguely remember covering her last year in this regional because Belmont came to Tuscaloosa. Joe, her ERA is 0.66. I mean, get out of here. That's just unreal. She was the number 3 pick in that Athletes Unlimited softball draft, the pro league that's kind of going around. This is a big-time pitcher. And I kind of was just scrolling through X last night, and a lot of people, the general consensus seems to be, wow, how is this Alabama's field as the number 1 overall seed? So Southeast Louisiana was in Tuscaloosa as well, I think 2 years ago for a regional. Belmont last year. They're both some of the better mid-majors from what I'm seeing. Belmont, you see the way that Alabama's offense just got shut down by Texas's ace. Well, I think there's probably a world where Maya Johnson throws just about every pitch in this regional if Belmont goes on a run, right? So she's certainly capable of shutting down the Crimson Tide bats. But at the end of the day, you're the 1 seed for a reason. It's no excuse to not get out of your own regional. see if Alabama can take care of business.
Absolutely. So that will get started later on in the week, and we'll try to get Katie Wyndham on. I want to get Katie Wyndham on to preview the softball the softball NCAA regionals, and I want to get Hunter DeCyber on to talk about the article that he has put out. Before we get to the football article side of things, let's go to basketball because you've got the NBA draft lottery that was put out. So now the NBA draft is set. And Theo, that's more your area, but I know that the Wizards won the number 1 pick. And Jazz is 2, Grizzlies 3. I know that on my timeline, all the Bears fans who are also Bulls fans are excited about the Bulls draw. They got the number 4 overall pick. But really for us, and the reason that I'm bringing it up is with the draft lottery comes new NBA mock drafts. And most recent mock draft for ESPN you tweeted it out, put LeBaron Bailon at 13 overall to the Miami Heat and has Amari Allen at 27 overall to the Boston Celtics. What did you make of the draft lottery? Does it matter to you? What do you think? I mean, this week is the NBA Combine. You'll see Amari Allen competing and trying to impress, trying to move up that draft board. Are you feeling? Didn't your Thunder get pick 16, 15, 14?
Yeah, OKC will hold pick 12 from the Clippers, and then pick 17 from the 76ers. So shout out to Philly for losing relatively early to allow OKC to pick, because the Sixers have it from someone else. Never mind that. OKC with 2 very solid picks in this draft. Sam Presti will find the 2 best players available there and make a lot of teams look foolish. My take on Amari Allen, which I've been reiterating for a good bit of time now, is that there's no way this guy is making it back to campus for Alabama. First of all, you see there's some upward movement in the mocks already for Allen. Like, already he's gone from a bit of a question mark over the past couple months to the lowest I've seen him is 27. And that's from ESPN. I've seen him as high as number 20. No disrespect to ESPN, but there are people who do mock drafts a lot better than that. Amari Allen already entering probably right at the fringe of where he would be willing to just enter the draft, right, for good and not come back to college. Like, he's already at the fringe of that going into the Combine. There is just no way in the world that Amari Allen doesn't impress teams at the Combine. He is going to go there. He is going to put on a show and show teams all of the things that made Alabama basketball fans fall in love with him. All the things that made Nate Oates fall in love with him. All the things that made him one of the biggest risers in the country this past year, right? Going from a relatively unheralded prospect to a guy who will be selected in the first round. And I think what Amari can do this week that is so critical is he can really reassure teams that all the stuff that kind of he struggled with in that slump, right, from end of February onwards, really, we were talking about, okay, Amari Allen's performances have dipped a little. You can show teams, yeah, it was a fluke. You can get back to look at all the phenomenal things I was doing early in the season. I really think Amari Allen will play his way. If I were to set a number, I'd say like top 18. I think 18 is as low as Amari Allen will go in the NBA draft. And Alabama fans, I'm sorry, you will not get to watch him in Crimson next year.
Ooh, we'll see. I don't think that's a crazy take. You've had a couple, so far since you've been with us full time. There's some of it hit and some of it not. I think this one has a pretty decent chance to hit for sure. Because I think he's going to go up to the Combine and exactly as you said, he's going to yes sir all the executives. And when the whistle is blown, it's going to be full bore Amari Allen, defense, 3-and-D, take the shots that come to him, attack the basket when the lane opens up kind of thing. I think that he's going to really, really, really impress a lot of these NBA folks this week and move from the mid-20s into the late teens. And maybe I'll join you in becoming an Oklahoma City Thunder fan if he is drafted by Oklahoma City.
OKC will not ultimately end up selecting Amari Allen just because there's no room on the roster. I mean, this is the most stacked roster of all time, and there's real talks about having to trade your former number 12 overall pick who has had a torn ACL and cancer and is still probably going to become a great player just because you have no room. I mean, OKC has 2 lottery picks that don't even touch the floor. So with these 2 picks, I think it'll either be try to trade up into the top 5 or maybe get off both of them, make selections deeper in the future when you actually need it. The other one that's interesting is that, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of early dialogue about LeBaron Fallon to Miami. That is who ESPN has a mock to. I forget who the second mock that I saw, who had him going there was, but Fallon should be edge of the lottery. I mean, I fully believe that is where he ends up going. Miami would be about as good an option as anybody. I think LeBaron Fallon could greatly, I think both sides could greatly benefit from a LeBaron Fallon Heat culture pairing together.
I've always been a little bit of a Miami Heat kind of a guy because of listening to Dan Le Batard's show throughout my adolescence, and the Heat LeBaron. I would love to see him down there. I think that would be a fun fit for him. So we'll see what ends up happening this week at the NBA Combine. We're pretty much in agreement. I think it's pretty unlikely that you see Amari Allen back in an Alabama uniform. I would like that from a selfish standpoint, both to cover him because he was a stand-up fella to cover, but also because of what he can do on the court. So we'll see if he comes back to Tuscaloosa. I doubt. I'm kind of in the camp that I think it's pretty unlikely. So we will see now that the draft lottery is set and teams can start making their plans and starting to track their boards and rank their prospects. Theo, that's about all of that's all the weekend stuff that I have. Do you have anything else that happened over the weekend that you think, we need to talk about this or that, whether it be Alabama related, college football related, college sports related? If not, I'll read the Purple Turtle Roofing ad, and then we'll talk about Hunter DeCypher's article this morning.
No, the dust has kind of settled on our absurd NCAA fiasco week from last week, so we can actually keep the program kind of normal this week, so get right into it.
There we go. So let's tell everybody about Purple Turtle Roofing. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Visit us online at roofturtle.com. You can see all our products and services, and you can schedule that free roof inspection right there at roofturtle.com. Or if you want to talk to a human and work out your problem on the phone, you can call 877-PT-ROOF-5. That's 877-787-6635. They'll talk you through your problems. They'll schedule your free roof inspection. One of their great team members are going to come out, get up on your roof, and make sure that you don't have any damage. Make sure that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. As the next storm is right around the corner, so you want to make sure that your roof is right. Call them today, 877-787-6635, or visit them online at roofturtle.com. Purple Turtle Roofing, roofing with heart, built to last. All right, Theo, one real quick thing before we jump into Hunter's article. The Missouri Tigers athletic department this morning put out a statement that was really shocking, really concerning to me because the Missouri Tigers put out a statement because running back Ahmad Hardy was shot this weekend. The statement reads, Missouri football student athlete Ahmad Hardy was the victim of a shooting at a concert in Mississippi early Sunday morning and sustained a gunshot wound. Ahmad underwent surgery on Sunday in Mississippi and is in stable condition. Praise the Lord. Ahmad is deeply loved by his teammates, coaches, friends, family, and fans. We will continue to stand behind him and his family through this difficult time, offering our love, prayer, strength, and support. A timeline for his return to football activities is unknown at this time. Missouri Athletics will provide more information on his status when it becomes available. Obviously, this was just yesterday morning, early morning, late Saturday night, and I don't have any more details than that, Theo. I just want to wish the young man well in his recovery.
Yes, great football player, and wishing him all the best.
Absolutely. So let's stick with the football and get into Hunter DeCyver's article this morning. Hunter DeCyver wrote for us at BamaCentral.com, 5 Alabama football players poised for a breakout 2026 season. So I'm going to read these 5 guys, and we're going to talk about this group. And the question is this, Theo. If you had to make it a 6th breakout candidate, who are some of the guys, or you can pick one, you can banty around 2 or 3, who would be the 6th breakout candidate on your list? Hunter DeCyver burns the first 5 by giving you Red Morgan. Now, hold on. Got to give a little note of context. Note, guaranteed 2026 starters who started throughout the second half of last year's season, Michael Carroll and Dijon Lee, are not included. All right, so he's going number 1, Red Morgan. He's going number 2, Lazia Brooks. Number 3, London Simmons. And he's going number 4, Caleb Edwards. And lastly, he's going with QB Reese. So a lot of sophomores, a redshirt sophomore, QB Reese. You got the Red Morgan is, I think, a junior as well. So a lot of sophomores. Red Morgan, 5 breakout candidates. I mean, he picked he picked the first 5, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Making my decision for a 6th, really easy though. I mean, give me Derek Meadows, right? This is a no-brainer for me. I've been very high on Derek Meadows. Really, I don't know when it started. Probably December-ish, where I think I've started to see that I think this is a guy who will be a big-time player for Alabama football. Hakeem Butler, as I've said in the past. You can talk about, okay, how much this is dictated by a big 8A, right? And are we looking into the 8A hype too much? I don't think we are. I think I see a 6'5" guy who can move incredibly well, who appears to have good instincts, who is trusted by both QBs, and I see somebody who I think should be a big-time player for Alabama this year. Give me Meadows at number 6.
Derek Meadows as Theo Fernandez is number 6. I think Derek's a great pick. The player that I think that he did not put on there that's going to make an impact. I don't know that this player is going to be a starter because of the players that are in front of him, Keon Sabb and Bray Hubbard. But I believe Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. is going to have a pretty nice little role this year and be one of these defensive backs that pops up and makes a play or 3 that sticks out in your mind throughout the season, whether it be a big old hit, whether it be an interception that he returns for a nice return. I think Drake Kirkpatrick has a chance to bounce back. Obviously, everybody thinks about the arrest last year and the indefinite suspension, but I think that he's going to be a player that's going to be pretty close up. He and Ivan Taylor. I mean, really, that safety room is so loaded. So I love the Red Morgan pick from Hunter DeCyver. I think that Red is really, really a strong candidate to break out. So I think that's a great pick. But I'll stay in the safety room. My next 2 guys would be Drake Kirkpatrick and Ivan Taylor. Their only problem is the NFL pedigree in front of them with Bray and Keon Sabb. So those guys, if I had to go an offensive guy, I would probably pick a running back, and I would probably pick Daniel Hill based on the weight loss. Now, he probably doesn't qualify considering how Hunter DeCyver caveated his article because he got a lot of run last year. We all remember. But I do think Daniel, the running game has to be better. So one of the running backs has to break out, whether it be E.J. Crowell or whether it be A.K. Deere or Daniel Hill. I think that one of those running backs is going to emerge, and you're going to say, oh, okay, the running back is at least, or the running game is at least viable this year.
I want to ask you, Joe, a lot of names in the secondary. What do you think it would take for Mincy to get himself on that list? And do you think he's in consideration for one of those spots, or is there just too much out of him?
No, I think Mincy is definitely in consideration for the Husky spot. I think he's in consideration for backing up Bray Hubbard. Look, when it comes to Ivan Taylor, Red Morgan, Xavier Mincy, and Drake Kirkpatrick Jr., I think all 4 of those guys can really contribute. But you look at the composition of the secondary, and you're like, well, how is it going to play out? You go back to Kane Womack's first year. King Womack's first year, you were rotating the defensive backs like crazy. Now, a lot of it was out of necessity, and a lot of it was out of they had a bunch of freshmen back there. I think that you're going to really see an effort to stay fresh on the defensive end. Now, you're not going to pull Bray Hubbard off the field just because we need to, pull him off the field just for rotational sake. I think that there's going to be some give and take of, hey, are we just rotating to rotate and stay fresh? I think Zay Mincy has a good shot to carve out a role this year.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like it's time for Mincy to get on that field, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was that class was Mbakwe was the number 2 corner. Yeah, Brown was number 3, and there was Mincy right at number 4. If I have that, I think I have that correct. And it feels like it's time for him to get out there. Junior season hasn't redshirted, right?
I believe not. Yes.
Feels like there is a role for him on this team. I mean, I'm very high on Red Morgan as well. And it just plays into, how many teams out there would Mincy not be starting on? Right?
I think very few.
And even if he wasn't starting, it's like, okay, here's our number 1 rotational guy. And with Bama, he's one of however many guys, right? We've already talked about, I mean, in addition to Dre and Ivan Taylor, and you've got Chuck McDonald, right? You've got Jordan Edmonds had phenomenal 8A, right? And has had people talking about him. There are just so many games, man. And really trying to quantify it is difficult. This has got to be would it be great to say that if this isn't the best secondary in the country, it will have really underperformed? Because that's where I think I'm at with this unit.
I think that I would give them grace to say top 3, but if you're not a top 3, then yes, disappointment, underwhelmed, big disappointment. I think the secondary should be your absolute strength of this football team. So let's keep a conversation going, and you can help me brainstorm, because on Wednesday, I'm going to be writing 5 freshmen that have a chance to contribute this year. And I'm looking through this list here, Theo, and I think I'm going to have a hard time making it just 5. Because so really, you look through this list of freshmen, and I think Sedarian Morgan, Jaira Edwards. You think about that another loaded, big bad.
Is it just true freshmen?
Just true freshman is what I'm going to play. So I'm going, I think Xavier Griffin's going to get on the field. I think E.J. Crowell is going to get on the field. You just mentioned Jordan Edmonds. I think he's going to get on the field. We saw it at 8A. I think Trayshawn Brown is going to carve out a role as a bit of a pass-catching back, maybe change of pace type guy. Zion Gibson was one of the highest-rated cornerbacks in the class. So I think there's a lot of players, a lot of freshmen that have a chance to get on the field. Jamarian Matthews at Wolf/Bandit. Same with Mari Johnson, kind of at 3 technique. I think that you've got a lot of freshmen that have a chance to contribute this year. I think EJ Crowell is probably – EJ and Sedarian Morgan are probably 1 and 2 because of the need for a real running game. So EJ Crowell, you get the first option. And then Sedarian Morgan, for everything that you said about Derek Meadows, I think he's going to be in a rotational, a wide receiver rotation that allows him to get some targets. So I think he's going to get some run as well. How do we narrow this down? I'm going to go E.J. Crowell. I'll go Sedarian Morgan. I think Jamarian Matthews, because I think that Wolf and Bandit is a place in the depth chart where you're going to need him to step up. Okay, Jamarian Matthews. Will Max Sutter get on the field because of how much the coaches really like to use the tight ends and package the tight ends as far as different roles? I think he's probably one. And my fifth, Xavier Griffin. Just because of I think you're going to get him involved in pass rushing situations, and I think that just same thing that I said about Bandit Wolf. I think that applies to Xavier Griffin as well.
You're leaving all the secondary off that list just because of that.
I mean, I hate leaving Jaira Edwards, Zion Gibson off the field, and Jordan Edmonds, but you just go back to 5 seconds ago. It's too loaded. It's too loaded to get those guys on the field unless somebody is too tired and, heaven forbid, maybe somebody gets dinged up. I think those are the paths for that. I mean, I think Jair Edwards is going to be a special player. But is his path to playing time very clear?
No, it is not. But it becomes very clear when he's just too good to be left off the field. I mean, so you had Jamarian Matthews as one of your 5.
Yes.
Like I just think I'd have to go like Jair Edwards over him or Xavier Griffin, right? Whichever one of those two you narrow it down to. I think Jair Edwards is just. No, it's such a deep room. He is too talented to not make an impact this year. I think you have to have Edwards as one of the 5. You did end up going back Sutter as one of the 5.
Yes, I think so.
I agree with that take. I think that is the correct take. I think it's an interesting tight end room, right? I think Josh Ford will do some fun stuff in the blocking game, but as far as a clear number 2 pass-catching tight end, it will ultimately be Sutter, I believe, and there's some room for him to get on the field and make some plays.
So it's going to be a lot of fun as we keep going on the summer, but that's going to be what I work on for the Wednesday cover for BamaCentral, and that's kind of where my head's at right now. If you think I need to make some reconsiderations, please jump in on the voicemail line. Excuse me, at 205-462-7340. Extension 800, or you can leave us a comment at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _, at BamaCentral if you want to chime in on breakout candidates or 5 freshmen that stand to contribute this season. That's going to kind of be my mission this week. I'm seeing reports, Theo, in our recruiting chat, because we do have a recruiting reporter now, that Alabama is in line to receive a commitment today from Kenneth Simon from Brentwood Academy in Nashville. Well, if that ends up happening, that's going to be about 3 o'clock Central Time. So if that ends up happening, Theo and I will talk about Kenneth Simon. We'll put his huddle tape on tonight and kind of figure out what he looks like as a football player. But Kenneth Simon is choosing between Alabama. It looks like Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia. So if you're choosing between those 3 programs, you're probably pretty good. Well, I can't wait to look at Kenneth Simon if he commits to Alabama today. Theo, anything else you got on your brain for today? Anything else to set up the rest of the week that you're thinking that we should be thinking about, or conversations that we should have as the week progresses? Otherwise, I think we're about done.
No, we're about good. Baseball gets to marinate for a little while, right? You don't play midweek this late in the year, so the Ole Miss series will be a big one. There really is a lot on the line there, which we'll get into maybe Thursday or Friday for that series, but it should be. It's a kind of a lighter week with the anticipation of things coming later. So it'll build up a little bit, I think.
Absolutely. So we're going to have a lot of fun the rest of the week. We'll find Katie Wedden to preview the NCAA softball regional, to talk about how big and bad this Belmont pitcher is. We'll find Hunter DeCiver to talk about his breakout candidates. And really, I want Hunter on to talk about Amari Allen and the draft combine, that sort of thing, because Hunter covers Alabama basketball for us at BamaCentral. So we're going to cover everything under the sun in the Alabama athletic sphere over the rest of the week. And we've had a lot of fun with you guys today. Everybody who's listened to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, if you've got some time today, go ahead and leave us a review. It would mean so much to me. It would mean a lot to me. It spreads the algorithm and it helps the show grow. So please take some time today on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a rating and review. We've had a lot of fun with you guys today. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. He's going to go work at Fox Sports here in just a little bit. We'll catch up with him tomorrow. Hopefully, Theo, you get to go to the Lakers and Thunder game tonight. Watch your Thunder close them out. And we'll talk to y'all in the morning right here on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.